JoeTownsend.com. 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 Horror this way wins. JoeTownsend.com will leave your spirit haunted. Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. Ah. Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. Oh, oh, oh. Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. Ah. Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mr. Weber's Web O
Hang on.
Mystery.
The creaking mic stand brings you once again to Mr. Weber's Web O Mystery. I am a dork. Feel free to say so in the chat. I will not argue with you at all. But I am an old-time radio dork. So here on Web of Mystery, what I like to do is find old-time radio shows that I think you might really enjoy and play one for you and maybe give you a little information that helps you enjoy it more. And pretty much bring you into a world that I love and I love to share, old-time radio. Tonight's episode is a great one. We've been very excited about it ever since I sort of accidentally decided to play it. It is The Six Shooter, starring Jimmy Stewart. Yes, that Jimmy Stewart. James Stewart was one of the great American Hollywood actors, especially of the 20th century. Very few were more beloved and more experienced in being an actor, doing all kinds of acting. And what a lot of people don't know is that this show, like many radio shows for big stars, came at a time when he was not as popular as he had been. I know, but you have to remember the time. So I'm going to take you back to World War II. Jimmy Stewart was already a pilot. He knew how to fly. And so he volunteered and he wanted to be in the Air Force. I believe at that time he was a bomber pilot, I think. So I think he was in the Army Air Force. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he served with distinction, as many actors did. Many Americans did. Many citizens of the world did. John, you're getting off track. Jimmy Stewart came out of the war, came home with everyone else after World War II, and like everyone, had a period of adjustment. It was a lot to go through that and then go back to business as usual. And one of the things that Jimmy Stewart had started doing when he came back after World War II was he wanted to play more complex characters. So that led to him not taking certain roles and taking other roles. And one of the very first movie he did when he got out of the Army, when he returned from World War II, was, I always blank on this movie. It's the Christmas one. Hang on, do I have to look at my notes here? I don't want to say the wrong name. Oh, John, you're so pathetic. He did the movie, the Frank Capra movie. Oh, come on. It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you, Joe Townsend. Joe Townsend catches me as I'm falling so often. It's incredible. And I also want to say, And Brody is here as well. Diana J. Brody. Thank you. Thank you. Wait a minute. Where is he? Raphael. Oh gosh, it keeps there we go. Raphael, hey, you're here. That's fantastic. And we are all dorks here. Thank you for joining us, Scott. It's a treat to have you with us, and your enjoyment of Spider Hat is worth everything. Even me sitting around going, I can't remember It's a Wonderful Life. So here's something maybe you don't know about It's a Wonderful Life. It was not well received. It was actually not a big hit. People kind of liked it, but many people were like, not my cup of tea. And anyone can kind of understand it is a different kind of movie. There's a supernatural element to it and a time travel and a, parallel universe. And there's all kinds of weird things going on in that movie that maybe people just weren't ready for. And after that, Jimmy Stewart then went to Broadway where he starred in Harvey. Now, Harvey's great. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. The stage play was a big hit. The movie did well, but again, it wasn't Jimmy Stewart doing what people loved Jimmy Stewart doing. So there was this leading man thing that was eluding Jimmy Stewart. He wasn't quite getting hits. And he was not seen so much as a leading man at this point. Now, if you've studied any kind of post-war view of how fiction worked, one of the things that became entirely, sort of overwhelmingly popular at the end of the 40s and way into the 50s was Westerns. Now, Westerns had been kid stuff for a long time. Most of the people in the 40s and the 50s knew like Tom Mix and Gene Autry, like the really early cowboys. And then as radio brought in its cowboys, they were very oriented for kids. So there was Red Ryder, which is actually a pretty good show if you can look past the racism. And not everyone can, and I understand. There's also, the Lone Ranger. There's so many cowboy characters from the Old West who were very, very popular with kids. Well, as those kids grew up, they wanted more substance in their Westerns. The kid stuff was still around. Don't get me wrong. There were plenty of Westerns that kids could listen to. But adults wanted to hear a more nuanced and deeper story. And that really hit with the series Gunsmoke. Now, Gunsmoke, Jimmy Stewart had nothing to do with it. Gunsmoke was a completely different outfit. And I actually found an episode of Gunsmoke that I'd like to play for you in a few weeks. So that's going to be fun. Keep your cowboy hats ready. But Gunsmoke became a huge hit among adults and was seen as a very sort of, nuanced kind of show. So a lot of shows came after that. And one of them was this one. And I'll even put the graphic up again. One of them was The Six Shooter. Kind of top of the line writers, top of the line actors, top of the line everything. It's a transcribed show. It was mostly recordings that were sent around. So you're going to hear a lot of recorded music, but it was recorded for the show and then put together later. It's 1953. They were doing that sort of thing. Oh my gosh, Chris, you're absolutely right. Hit 'em up, Scout. That was from Red Ryder. It's a great show. Okay, so now that I've given you all of this background, let's get into this episode. I had an episode I was going to play for you. There's oh my gosh, I think 39 episodes of The Six Shooter. It only lasted one season. And not because it wasn't well received and not because it wasn't a good show. It only lasted one season because people listened to it and went, that Jimmy Stewart's amazing. I love him. He's a hero. He's a leading man. And he was doing great work in this series. And after this series, his whole career came to life again, because this was the show where he got to do what he wanted to do. Don't get me wrong. He still wanted to play a complex character who was different shades of gray and not just simply a white hat cowboy. And he really proved to people how much they loved him and how much they'd kind of forgotten about that. And he became many different kinds of characters in his movies after this, but he did a lot of Westerns. He knew that's where the butter was on his bread. And I don't know if you remember, this is exactly the sort of thing. Did the radio show start his Western films journey? He had done, Raphael, it's a great question. He had done a couple of Westerns before, but now he was really embracing the Western the way the country was and playing these very two-fisted heroic guys. It's actually very related to film noir, the more complex characters. He wasn't always a sheriff or a marshal or any kind of lawman. Sometimes he was just what he was in The Six Shooter, which was a man who had a strong moral compass. He did what was right, and he did what he thought was right. And there were a lot of post-war characters that were like that. But I did want to pull this one up by Scott. Stewart had some great adult film Westerns in the 50s. Absolutely true. Winchester 73, one of the best. If you're ever going to see one cowboy movie, go watch Winchester 73. It's complicated, it's adult, and it's a really great story. Scott also mentions Bend of the River, The Naked Spur. Fantastic. Absolutely right. And I'm glad you mentioned this one, Scott. It peaked with The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. That is a great movie. You know what? I'm going to move Winchester 73 down one notch and put The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance up above, because that movie is dynamite. Everything about it is so great. And was that 1962? Talk about a post-50s movie, because it kind of wound up. Yeah, it's a great movie. Kind of wound up the whole mythology of the 1950s cowboy. Joe Townsend, as always, brings up an excellent point. Jimmy Stewart was always an everyman type where tough guys were usually cast. Yeah, the everyman went through a lot of different forms, and Jimmy Stewart played him up to World War II, and then afterwards, the everyman was a little different. Yeah, just as Joe points out, and I do love this line from Scott about The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance being a deconstruction of the Western. I mean, that's the Western that most of us know, is the post-boom Western. But this series, The Six Shooter, was very much, along with, the real groundbreaker, Gunsmoke, at, rewriting how we would look at the West and how Westerns would tell our stories. Oh my gosh, I just realized how high my microphone is. Well, it doesn't matter now. I'm done talking. Again. Oh my God. Am I getting like an Ed Wynn laugh? Oh, I feel like oh my God, I'm turning into Ed Wynn. There are worse people I could turn into. Let's line it up, shall we? Let's get this episode. I think, as I told you, I was listening to an episode that I wanted to play, and I was like, man, the sound is not great on this one. So I chose a different one. This one actually has... Okay, hang on. I have to interrupt myself because this is very much my relationship with Diana J. Brody. I told you about that mic so many comments ago. I know, but I was blah, 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 blah the whole time. I do. I'm laughing like Ed Wynn. Okay, I want to get this last one up by Raphael. Many veteran actors moved into westerns. Absolutely. Jimmy Stewart. Randolph Scott had always been in westerns. Burt Lancaster, great call. Dean Martin. So many great actors that were kind of bouncing around really fell into westerns and really did great work in westerns. Brody says, I love you and your Ed Wynn face. You do it for Randolph Scott. Randolph Scott. Yes, from Blazing Saddles. You're right, Joe. Spiderleg creates a lot of shadows. That's actually something I do for this show. Like I light it to cast shadows on my face. I don't know why. I guess I'm tired of being handsome. Okay, here we go. Let's get to the show, shall we? It is a humdinger. I found a great copy of this one on YouTube. I really love how it sounds. I've never been to this account before. It's called Jimmy Stewart, but I'm telling you, that ain't Jimmy Stewart. But it is a well-run account. So I'm going to put a like on it and I'm going to subscribe. And I certainly hope you'll consider doing that for Weber Internet Thingy, liking and subscribing. Oh, I'll make that bigger. Don't worry. I will make that bigger. And here we go. This is from the 6-shooter. This episode is called Red Lawson's Revenge. And let's listen to Jimmy Stewart. You're going to like this show. I hope you'll love this show, but it's really good. Okay, enough. Here we go.
In just a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the 6-shooter, just one of the many great stars brought to you Sundays on NBC. Every Sunday, hear Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy in The Marriage, Sir Laurence Olivier on Theatre Royal, Lawrence Tibbett with the Golden Voices, Helen Hayes, Frederick March, Rex Harrison, and Lily Palmer on the NBC Star Playhouse. All of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the 6-shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl, its handle unmarked. People call them both the 6-shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the 6-shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still remembered legends. Now, in just a moment, immediately following this important announcement, you'll hear Act 1 of the 6-shooter. Meet the safe driver. If you know what makes him stay alive on the highways, you may be able to follow his good example. He always keeps his car in A1 mechanical condition. He shows courtesy for other drivers. He knows that speed is his greatest enemy. And most important, he knows and obeys the laws. Remember, few accidents happen with safe drivers. Are you one of them? Now, Act 1 of The 6-Shooter, starring James Stewart.
I hadn't seen Mary and Dan for pretty near 3 years, not since they left the Panhandle. So I figured as long as I was riding up through the Platte River country, I might as well swing out of my way a piece and look in on them. Now, we'd been real good friends for a long time. It was kind of like going home. And the closer I got, the more I kept thinking back, remembering, kind of daydreaming. You know, riding across prairie flat sort of does that to you. Your horse, he kind of finds his own trail mostly, and you just slouch easy-like in the saddle and listen to the hoofbeats, steady, regular. things you haven't thought about for years sneak into your head. Anyhow, I still had a day to go, and I was watching out for a good spot to bed down when I saw this campfire up ahead. Well, the way I figure, human beings are always better company than coyotes, so I gave Scar a flick with the reins and headed up toward it. Whoa, easy now, boy. There we are. Easy. Ah, howdy.
Hiya.
You'd rather camp private?
Well, climb down. Pour yourself some java.
Oh, thanks. Easy, boy. Whoa. Hey, wait, that smells good.
Yeah.
You, any notion about how far it is Walnut Creek?
Well, 20 miles or so, I reckon. That where you're going?
Yeah, I was stopping over there. A couple of friends there I haven't seen in quite a while.
Uh-huh. Yeah, a fellow there I ain't seen for a while, neither.
That's all. Hey, by George, there's good coffee.
I've been hunting him for over 3 years. Finally located him. I'm going to kill him.
Uh-huh. How come?
He murdered my kid brother 4 years ago in Laredo. Shot him down in the street.
Yeah. Well, another killing won't bring him back.
Oh, nothing will bring him back. And after I killed Dan Mailer, nothing will bring him back neither.
Dan Mailer?
That's right, Ponce.
Huh?
Yeah, I know who you was. As soon as you rode up to that fire and I got a look at that gun of yours. Britt Ponce. The fellow they call a six-shooter.
Well, you must have known I was a friend of Dan's. How come you told me all this?
Well, I figure you'll warn him. And that's fine with me. I want him to know. Have time to get scared, maybe try to run away. I like it if he runs a while first. I'll catch up with him. You tell him that, Ponce. You tell him Red Lawson's coming to kill him. And there ain't nothing he can do about it.
Thanks for the coffee. Easy, boy. Now, Lawson, I reckon Dan won't run. I'll be seeing you. Come on, boy. Come on. That's the trouble with the past. It wasn't only good things in it. It got some bad ones, too. And one of the bad ones was reaching out for Dan and Mary. I didn't know this fellow Lawson. I didn't know what he was talking about, but I did know Dan. And I knew if he killed somebody back there in Texas, it hadn't been murder. It was long about middle of forenoon when I rode up the dirt road between the rows of cottonwoods, turned into the yard. Old hound dog came charging around the side of the house, sounding a lot meaner than he looked. Whoa, boy. Whoa, Scar. Here now. I'll quit it. Yeah, you don't want to bite anybody. Nice fella. Go on, tell him you got company. Go on, boy. Go on. Go on. The place had a good feel to it. Quiet, peaceful. And then I remembered Lawson.
Britt Ponce. Oh, I just can't believe it.
Hiya, Mary. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Dan, come on up and see who's here. Hurry. He's been working in the barn fixing up one of the plows. How are you?
Hey, you haven't changed a bit, Mary, unless you're a little prettier than him.
Oh, you're...
Are you? Hi, Dan.
Son of a gun. Oh, you stayed away too long.
Well, things came up, Dan. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You're sure looking good, both of
Oh,
you.
feeling good, too.
Settling down is what does it, Britt.
Yeah, she took a good saddle man and turned him into a poor plowman. What do you think of that?
That's not true, Dan. We've got the best stand of corn west of the Omaha. What's really great, though, Britt, is peace.
Peace.
No more gunfighting, no range wars. Never knowing whether Dan would come home sitting up in his saddle or tied onto it. That's all in the past now. Why, Dan doesn't even wear a gun anymore. And that's the way I want it, Britt. It's the kind of life I want from... Oh, have we got a surprise for you?
Oh, well, you know, I kind of hard to surprise, you know. You remember?
That's what you think. Come on inside. Now, don't you tell him, Dan.
Oh, no.
Oh, you'll see, Britt.
Let's see. What, could we, one of those newfangled player pianos, is that it?
Oh, no, a piano. That's the most ridiculous guess I ever heard of.
Well, it sure couldn't be anything that
Look.
has... Well, I'll be darned. I'll be doggone. It's a baby. Well, which kind is it, Mary?
Not it. He. That's young Britt. He'll be a year and a half old next month.
That name was Mary's idea, Britt. I sure wouldn't have wished it on him.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Oh, he's all upset. Hasn't had his nap out. Britt, you'll have to look him over later. You and Dan go on outside now and let me quiet him down.
Oh, sure, Mary. I can't have my namesake all upset.
Are you hungry, Britt?
Oh, I'm always hungry. You know that, Mary.
Good. Got some buttermilk cornbread in the oven. Be ready in a minute.
You know, Britt, Mary is right. This is a good life. I never thought I'd settle down and like it, but I sure have done it.
Yeah, Dan. I guess Mary can't hear us out here, can she?
No, she can't hear us. Why, what's the matter, Britt?
I met a fellow on the trail last night, Dan. Name's Red Lawson.
Lawson.
Says you shot his brother in Laredo about 4 years ago.
Lawson. Kurt Lawson. Yep. Yeah, I did, Britt. He was one of the Bracken gang, that bunch of rustlers that pulled an ambush on me when I was working for the Circle J ranch. Well, I guess I better dig out the shooting irons and go after him.
No, wait a minute, Dan.
Wait, nothing. He's probably holed up in town. The odds will be better if I go after him instead of waiting for him to come to me.
Yeah, but what about Mary?
Well, that's just it. If I catch him in town, it'll keep him from coming out here. What about her, Britt? What do you mean?
Well, she's happy now, Dan. She figures this kind of thing is all over and done with.
Well, she'll sure find out different if he comes out here gunning for me.
Well, maybe he won't, though. Maybe, Dan, maybe I can do something.
Britt, I've always fought my own battles.
But you've got Mary now. You've got the baby.
And you're a lot faster with a gun than I am. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, Dan. There are just other answers besides killing, that's all. Or maybe we can find one. Anyway, we can try, can't we? I saddled up Scar a bit early the next morning and rode into town alone. Figured I'd have a talk with the sheriff. After all, this was his job when you come right down to it. Well, he wasn't in his office at the county jail. He was out of town for the next 3 days. So I walked down the main street trying to figure out what to do. This wasn't much of a town, Walnut Creek. There's a couple of blocks of clapboard buildings, and boardwalk along the front of them, sheet iron awnings up over, and nothing much stirring but the dogs. Sleepy, quiet, real nice and peaceful. For everybody except me.
Britt!
Huh? Oh, Mary.
Oh, no now. Oh. Wow. You were certainly an early bird this morning.
Well, Mary, does Dan know you came into town by yourself?
Well, I don't know, Britt. I come in alone every day or two. Why shouldn't I? Something wrong, Britt?
No. I just wondered, that's all.
Actually, I think he was too busy to notice I'd left. You know what he was doing? Cleaning his guns. You're a bad influence, Britt.
Well,
I think you've started him thinking about things...
Well, Ponset, how about it? You give him my message?
What?
Lawson. Mary, I'll see you later, huh?
Well, all right, Britt.
Oh, now, there ain't no need of the lady.
No.
Like that.
Goodbye, Mary. I'll see you later, huh?
Well, all right, Britt. If you say so. Get here. Come on.
Mary, huh? Dan's wife, maybe. I hear he's got a kid, too.
Yeah, maybe you hear too much, Lawson. And talk too much, too. Maybe you don't ride enough.
Oh, I'll ride when I'm through here. When I get even.
Yeah, but Dan told me about that. Your brother tried to ambush him. He was in with the Bracken gang.
That don't make no difference to me. He was my brother. Dan Mailer was in my place, he might feel the same way. Maybe I'll give him a chance to feel the same way. Now that I know he's got a wife, a kid.
Now, Lawson, if you touch Mary...
Yeah,
that
I
kid-
know. I know all the odds. But once I've done what I come here to do, I don't care what happens afterwards. You, Dan Mailer, can make no move until I do. You see how it stacks up, Ponce? I got all the cards.
He turned his back and he walked off down the street, and I stood there watching him go, knowing he was right. He did have all the cards. There was only one thing in the world he wanted: revenge. And he didn't care what it cost to get it, even his life. Dan and I couldn't move first, and afterwards it'd be too late.
We'll return to James Stewart as the six-shooter in just a moment. When it's entertainment you're after, you'll find the very best on this station of the NBC radio network. Thursday night, for example, you'll hear Robert Young, Roy Rogers, Ralph Edwards, and Eddie Cantor, each with a great program for your listening pleasure. Robert Young on Father Knows Best, a program based on the assumption that the man of the family can put one over on the wife and youngsters. And Truth or Consequences with Ralph Edwards. When Ralph sends a contestant off on a consequence, it usually ends up as one of radio's funniest stunts. And if you like Western songs and adventures, you'll find none better than the ones you hear on the Roy Rogers Show. Then, to top it all off, hear the little-known stories of show business that Eddie Cantor tells on Show Business Show, each Thursday on the NBC Radio Network. Now, Act Two of The Six-Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponsett.
I found Mary finally at the general store, and I stayed with her while she bought some things. And we headed back to the farm. Just like a woman, she was curious about the fellow I'd stopped to talk with. Wondered why I hadn't introduced her. I had a real hard time stalling her off, but I managed to. With Dan, it was different. Dan? Are you in there, Dan?
Yeah, come on in, Britt. Been cleaning my guns.
Oh, forget it, Dan. There are better ways.
Yeah? You got one figured?
No. No, not yet. I saw Lawson in town a while ago, Dan.
Oh? You talked to him any?
Yes, I talked to him. I reckon you better stay close to Mary and the boy.
Why? What do you mean? What do you mean, Britt? Did he say anything?
No, not exactly. He saw Mary in town, though.
Why, that dirty...
No, I didn't let him talk to her, Dan. She wondered about it, though. She'll probably ask you later.
That settles it, then. I hadn't even thought of that side of it. Britt, I'm going after him.
You wouldn't have a chance, Dan.
You're selling me kind of short, ain't you?
No, I don't mean it that way. Lawson wouldn't draw even if you called him. That's not what he's after, don't you see? You'd have to kill him in cold blood, and I don't think you could do that, Dan.
No, I couldn't. Not even Lawson. What are we going to do, Britt?
We waited. Watched. The day passed. No sign of Lawson. Nothing happened. But instead of feeling easier, we just got more keyed up. Mary didn't seem to catch on anything was wrong. Then supper was over and the night started to come on. And we just sat around talking while Mary got the baby off to sleep, singing to him and rocking him. The katydids start chirping close. Way off toward the hill, the coyotes took up and answered them. Inside, it was sort of quiet and gentle.
I think he's finally drifted off.
Yeah, he looks sound asleep.
Just look at him lying there, completely helpless and so lovable you could just eat him up.
Well, I suppose he'll get himself some hair and teeth someday. Maybe look a little more human then.
Dan, that's a fine way to talk about your own son.
That's when I heard it. Sound outside. A horse stamped just 1 or 2 times. Like somebody was holding too tight a rein on him. Scar and Dan's stock were all in the corral over next to the barn. This was right up close to the house. I didn't let on to Mary or Dan.
What's the matter, Brick? You getting restless?
No, it's too many years on the trail, I guess. I think maybe I'll amble outside. I get a little fresh air.
Well, watch out for the coyotes, Britt. They grow 'em big around here. Dangerous, too.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Coming out of the light that way, I was blind as a bat. I stopped on the porch. I waited a minute so I could get used to the dark, and I stood there listening to the sounds coming out of the night. The katydids, the coyotes, and I heard again. I moved around the corner of the house. It was all quiet. No sign of anybody. I drew fast and fired at the fire. Then I could hear a horse getting away.
Rich, you all right?
Yeah, Dan. I lost him. He got away.
Brick, what in the name of heaven were you trying to do?
You all right, Mary?
Small thanks to you if I am. That first shot didn't miss me or the baby by more than 6 inches.
Well, I'm sorry, Mary. There was a coyote out there, and I didn't realize...
Didn't realize, you fool. You might have killed us both, and you didn't realize.
Stop it, Mary. Britt was...
No, she's right, Dan. It's my fault. I just didn't think, that's all.
Britt, I think you've worn a gun so long it's beginning to affect your mind.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Look, I think maybe I'll ride into town for a while, if nobody minds. I'm awful sorry, Mary. I'll see you later,
I ought to go with him, Mary.
Why? After a fool trick like that, he ought to be alone. Nobody should be around him. It isn't safe to be.
Oh, you don't understand, Mary. You just don't... Well, let's go back in the house.
Yeah, what? Let's all go back in.
Dan!
Lawson. Why, you...
Easy, Mailer. You see how it is. Gun ain't pointed at you. One crazy move and your wife will get it. All right. Let's all go inside. Go on, move. Oh, a nice place. Yes, sir. Real nice place. Got a storeroom over there? Mailer.
Yeah.
All right. Get inside, both of you. I said get inside.
Come on, Mary.
Ah. That ought to hold you? Huh? Now.
Boys had too much of a start on me. Catch up to him. After a while, I stopped. Whoa, car. Whoa, boy. Hold up here. Oh. I could hear him up front. I could hear him. I've heard a lot of horses on the trail. Enough of them to know that this one had an empty saddle on him. I read Lawson hadn't left that farm at all. Come on, boy. Come on, Scar. Lawson could be anywhere around here. Dan? Where's this? Where's that? Dan? Oh, the storeroom. Oh, all right, just a second. Wait till I get this. I'll try to get this door open.
Where is he?
Nobody here, Dan.
The baby!
What?
Where's the baby?
I don't know. Dan.
Lawson was here, waited for you to leave, and locked us up. He kept coming over to the storeroom door telling us what he was going to
He
do.
said he'd burn the house, all kinds of
He
things.
couldn't have got away. He was here just a minute ago.
And he has the baby.
Britt.
Wait a minute. He's got to come over here to the barn to get the horse. Grab your gun. Come on, Dan.
Stay here, Mary. Don't come out of the house.
He's got the baby. This won't be easy.
I know. I can figure why he waited. He had all of us. I can't figure it.
Yes, he's waited 3 years. He just wanted to enjoy it, that's all. All right, come on. We better separate. No use making it easy for him.
Right, Britt.
Hold it. Right where you are.
The moon came out from behind the cloud. I could see him now standing right in the barn door, right in the open, like he wasn't afraid of anything. And then I saw why he wasn't afraid. He was holding a gun in his hand, not pointing it at us, though. It was aimed at a little bundle squirming in the hay behind him.
I reckon you can see how things stand. One movement's all over for the kid. All right, Mailer. Drop your gun.
I'm the one you're after, Lawson. All right, you got me. How about leaving Mary and the baby out of it? I killed your brother. They didn't.
Hey, you'd miss him, though, wouldn't you? I guess you'd miss him real bad.
Why, you...
Hey. Careful, mate.
Dan just stood there, helpless, his hands up in the air. The moon was out full now. I knew I could get a clear sight on Lawson, but I didn't dare to draw and fire. He'd still have time to jerk that trigger. The gun muzzle was about 3 inches from the baby's head.
All right, Ponce. Move on over next to Mailer. I want you both where I can see you. Go on, move.
I walked over and stood beside Dan.
4 years, Mailer. 4 years I've been dreaming about this. Now it's even better than I thought. I didn't know you'd have a family. I didn't know I'd get the 6-shooter along with you.
It's our fight, Lawson. Why don't you leave the rest of them out of it?
I had a brother once. 4 for 1 makes a pretty fair payoff.
I kept watching his gun. It was the only chance. If it swerved for 1 second, I'd make a play, but it didn't swerve. And the time was running out. And then I caught something from the corner of my eye, just the bare flicker of it. It was over at the side of the house. It was Mary. I made my draw. Lawson! Here!
You dropped him, Britt.
Now make sure, Dan. I know, we've got to make sure. Oh.
Is that sure enough for you?
Yeah.
Dan, Britt, the baby. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's all right, Mary.
Oh, thank heaven.
Mary, if anybody had told me that you could do what you just did,
Here now,
I don't know.
come to Mother. You mean after the way I've always felt about guns? And after you tried to keep all this from me?
Well,
Dan told me all about it when we were locked in the storeroom. Oh, there now, darling. It's all right now. Britt, I saw what was happening out here, and I remembered the rifle. And, well, after all, I mean, there was nothing else to do. All right now, darling. All right.
about 3 days later, I said goodbye. But I knew I'd come back that way someday. Dan and Mary aren't just the kind of friends a man forgets. Dan is a tough cowpoke from the range country, all settled down and liking it. And that Mary, she was gentle and sweet and firing at a killer to save her baby's life. And that baby, naming him Brett the way they done, that gives you kind of a funny feeling having a baby named after you. Kind of a good feeling. I figured I'd probably be telling the boys all about that when I got to Wyoming.
The truce in Korea doesn't mean we should stop writing letters to our men and women in service. Mail from home is just as important now as it ever was. In some respects, it's even more important. The action, the strain, the anxieties of war can keep a soldier's mind occupied. But when the letdown comes, the time to relax, that's when morale needs a shot in the arm. Your soldier knows the shooting is over. He's done his big job, and now he wants to get home. But unfortunately, there's still a lot to keep him for a while. So don't let him down. Help keep up his morale. Write that letter today.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Speaker.
Sorry, I had to turn off the Midas touch. It was just what was next in my queue. Wow. Well, I am so gratified that you all enjoyed it so much. The writing letters and Raphael's like, "Dear John, whoa, you wiseacre." An autoplay jump scare. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And the refrain of Joe Townsend's previous crummy commercials. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you loved it, Chris. Is that not really good? I mean, we have to remember that when Gunsmoke went to television, it did not take the radio cast with it, but it was already a big hit. And it lasted for 20 years. It was a gigantic show. So people really liked this. They really liked these complicated, not easy stories told through Westerns. It was just something that started in the early 1950s and stayed around for a long time. I remember watching Gunsmoke in the early 70s as a kid. So that really worked quite a bit. I can't tell you how many times people felt self-conscious writing me a letter and addressing it, "Dear John." That is true. Yes, a very good point, Scott. It's an intense show, psychological westerns. I mean, your comments earlier were very very on the mark, which is there was something about the audience now that understood that some people just aren't right in the head. Now, that's a nice way of saying it, but there is the sociopath and the psychopath, and there are people who are damaged or people who just, don't quite have a soul. I don't know. But in the 50s, this kind of nuance of characters and describing characters and doing a character-driven show like The Six Shooter, one of the things that we miss in this episode that's actually quite big in a lot of other episodes is the sort of northern exposure kind of, Gilmore Girls. There's like a weird town and weird folks in the town, and there's a lot of humor is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of sort of familiarity of, different kinds of characters. Let's see, the the banner is covering 1/3 of your face. Really, I am not in any way mad about that. I think it's oh my. I don't know why it's doing that. This is terrible. I'm so sorry. And that is a great way of describing it, Joe Townsend. Some people just want to see the world burn. And yes, Raphael, we got plenty of those around today. This was, oh, I get it now. When Diana said the banner is covering 1/3 of your face, Chris said, should it be more? Like you rule back, I'll get you. Lionel Barrymore. Oh, and this is a great suggestion as well, Scott. Frontier Gentleman. Frontier Gentleman was one of the 50s cowboy, Western shows that was very much about storytelling for adults and, frankly, the whole family. Very good series. One of the series I don't know particularly well, so I will definitely dig out one of those. I am kind of the same, Raphael. I never really gravitated towards Westerns, but I mean, that's the thing about old time radio. You've got basically 30 plus years of great shows to choose from, you always tend to go to the ones you really, really like. So I like mysteries, I like comedies, I do like westerns, especially when they're well done like this one. And that is right, Scott. The star of Frontier Gentleman was John Dehner. John Dehner could also be heard in Have Gun Will Travel, another series that's very good if you can get past the racism. Uh, and Joe, that brings up an excellent subject as well. We saw it in our own lifetimes that westerns like Unforgiven and Tombstone, gritty, complicated. Again, not just black and white, layers and layers of gray to put together these stories. Scott says, I took a class on the Western and the soap opera in college, turned me on to a lot of great shows and films. Radio was such a big player in both of those. Actually, radio created the soap opera. Scott, you knew that. This is a great question, Raphael. Hang on. Was William Conrad, Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke on the radio? And yes, Scott is absolutely right. William Conrad played Matt Dillon. Now, they did not want him. I should be saving this for Gunsmoke. But he knew through his voice he could create this character. Now, when it came time to do the TV series, it's really sad. He was hoping he would be Matt Dillon. So William Conrad, who we know as Fat Man from Jake and the Fat Man, canon, we know him as this really large man. He went on diet pills to try to lose weight so that he could get the role that he had played on radio. Well, they ended up giving it to James Arness. James Arness is a big old cowboy. Physically, he was exactly what they wanted for the role. And that's television for you. You know, it never has as much imagination as radio has. William Conrad, says Joe Townsell, had that great voice and a body for radio. Chris, that's absolutely one of my favorites as well, the movie Silverado. Hey, Raphael, you don't get to comment on the tangents if you asked me a question that created the tangent. You don't get to do that, you Weisenheimer. Scott's my favorite William Conrad story was when his agent called him about Jake and the Fat Man, and he said, "Am I Jake?" I love William Conrad. William Conrad as the narrator from Rocky and Bullwinkle. That to me is peak Conrad, if you will. I've actually thought, maybe because I never watched it as a kid, maybe I should watch Cannon because he's such a good actor. I really enjoy him a lot. By the way, I can bring it back. William Conrad did some guest roles on The Six Shooter. A lot of the actors from Six Shooter really, they were from Gunsmoke. It's crazy. When William Conrad guest starred on The Six Shooter, he couldn't use his own name because he was the lead on Gunsmoke, which technically was a competitor. So William Conrad acted on the show using the name Julius Krellboyne. Love it. I just absolutely love it. Julius Krellboyne. Let's talk about next week. So I don't know how this occurred to me, but it is something that had been at the back of my mind for the longest time. And I had really wanted to share this show that we're going to watch next week. We're going to watch, listen to. We're going to listen to an episode of Suspense, which, I think I've said it over and over, one of the greatest shows for radio ever. And it did many, many amazing things. And here's one of the things that it did. It employed as its star for this one episode, because it's an anthology, DeForest Kelley. A young man named DeForest Kelley. It's the 50s. It's the early 50s, I believe. And there's this gritty deep, like kind of makes you feel dirty to hear it show. And it's called The Flesh Peddler, starring a young, they actually say like the exciting young new star, DeForest Kelly. And this is going to be a lot of fun because I have heard this episode, and I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite radio episodes. It is creepy and has lots of thriller, kind of get you at the edge of your seat elements to it. And there's actually a couple of guest voices in it that you'd go, what? And I'm not going to spoil those for you because I know you'll show up for DeForest Kelly, so I don't need to tell you about the other amazing surprises you're going to hear in this episode. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope so much that you will join us, and it will be it'll be a great episode next week, next Thursday. Now, the next show I'm going to be doing is with our good friend Joe Townsell. Joe Townsell has been creating The Beats, and that is a recap of the shows that we talk about on Retro Trekkers, our Star Trek episodes that we love to discuss. For each one, he will do a thing we call the beats, where he'll basically tell you all the highlights of the plot. He also adds his own humor to it. And I have to tell you, for me, it's that joy of a Mad Magazine satire every week. Written by a really incredibly funny writer, Joe Townsell, and performed by him. I edit them, and I really enjoy that process too, because his work is just so. Joe Townsell's beats, we're going to listen to 3 different beats on this upcoming Sunday show. For me, they're highlights of the work that Joe and I have done here on the network, Weber Internet Thingy. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you'll join us on Sunday. That's 7 p.m. on the Pacific Coast, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And, adjust it for Rocky Mountain or, Chicago time, whatever you're on. And what are we going to see on Tuesday? Tuesday is our regular showing of Retro Trekkers. There will be beats, of course. Our good friend Eric Kramer is joining us. And we are going to be watching an episode of DS9. I have seen this one, but not for a long time. It references Casablanca quite a bit in a very winking, very adorable way. But it is a Quark story. Why is that a great thing? Because when it comes to actors, and Scott and I have already discussed this in front of Joe and with Joe, Armin Shimmerman, who plays Quark, is probably one of the best actors who has ever been in a Star Trek show. And there have been incredible actors, don't get me wrong. But Armin Shimmerman is probably one of the most unsung heroes under all of that makeup and the things that they glue to him. Under all of that, he does such extraordinary work. And we're going to get to see it as we recap and review the episode Profit and Loss. So I hope you will give that episode a peek if you get a chance. It is really it's quite extraordinary when one focuses on Armin Shimmerman, because when you think about how he would rehearse with all of the actors that he worked with at his house on the Sunday before the week of shooting, all the extra work they would put in, it's incredible. I hope that you will join us for that. And does KGB deliver, Weber Internet Thingy? So there's another show I do, and we had been talking about me promoting it, but I haven't been. So thank you for bringing it up, boys. The KGB is Kramer's Grill and Bar. Eric Kramer, of course, who's one of the Retro Trekkers, and I do a cooking show. And I can tell you this much. We debut every Saturday morning. We are right on track for this Saturday morning to debut our next episode, which is, and I'm giving it away here, here's an exclusive, gumbo. We will be making gumbo. And I have to tell you, we made the gumbo on Monday. It's even more delicious now than it was when we made it, as a good gumbo is. So it's a great recipe. And we had a great time doing it. So come for the stories, leave with the recipe. That's our latest slogan. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Gumby. No. And where is this KGB you speak of? Where can it be seen? Thank you, Diana J. Brody. You're very smart to bring that up. Eric Kramer's. I'll have the address from now on. I really should be promoting the show and cutting you guys in, because come on, you guys are my friends. I want to hook you up. So yeah, if you go to Eric Kramer's KGB channel on YouTube, you can find the backlog of shows. We've already done 3, but Eric had done a bunch before he basically hired me on to be his silly sidekick. Oh yeah, absolutely, Joe. Okay, so I've managed to make it, the show longer than an hour, which I always try to avoid. But look at me, I enjoy talking to you too much, so that is where we end up. Hey, don't forget. Oh yeah, subscribe and they'll pop up automatically. Don't forget, next week is young DeForest Kelley starring in The Flesh Peddler. It is a sleazy, gritty noir story, and you're really going to enjoy our boy DeForest in it, who, if I read this correctly, his friends used to call him D. DeForest. D. Very cool. All right, my friends, that's gonna do it. Always leave them laughing. You can't see DeForest for the trees. Thank you so much for joining us. So great. So great to be with you for this and to have shared something I love so much. So thank you very much. And that'll do it. See you next week. Oh, of course take me out of the